We are going on to the second part of 2.2 notes. Okay, so we are working more with conditional, converse, and biconditional statements. So rewrite the conditional statement in if-then form. You have a fever if your body temperature is 103 degrees. The if is right here, so it's going to kind of tell me the conditional. It says if your body temp is 103 degrees, then you have a fever. Okay, what I want for you to do right now is I want you to pause me and I want you to do 2 through 8 on your own. Okay, on number 2 and 3, the word if was in there, and so that made it a little bit easier on the order in which I wrote those. So number 2, if a deer has white fur and pink eyes, then it is albino. Number 3, if you want a CD, then I'll buy it for you. 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, I had to go with the most correct conditional statement. So, for instance, on 4, a pickup truck is a vehicle with a high utility value. So I wrote, if I have a pickup truck, then it has a high utility value. I didn't write it the other way because I could have a car or some other vehicle that has a high utility value that's not a pickup truck. Number 5, if your car is leaking antifreeze, then it has a problem. If I would have wrote it the other way, if your car has a problem that it is leaking antifreeze, that would have been false because I could have other problems with my car that don't involve the antifreeze. Number 6, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. If I would have wrote it the other way, it would have changed the whole meaning. If I don't say anything at all, it means I don't have anything nice to say. That's not necessarily true, right? Number 7, if you have an old dog, then you can't teach it new tricks. That just is that old saying, right? Number 8, so on this one I kind of messed up because I was going to write it the other way, and then I was like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. So I wrote it as, if you have a vein, then it carries blood towards the heart. I didn't want to write, if you have a blood vessel that carries blood towards the heart, then it is a vein. Because I feel like there's other things that carry, like arteries and whatnot, that carry blood towards the heart. Okay. Number 9, rewrite the definition as an if-then statement, then write the converse of the if-then statement. Finally, write the definition as a biconditional. Okay. So, the midpoint of a segment is a point that divides the segment into 2 congruent segments. So, if a point is the midpoint, then it divides the segment into 2 congruent pieces. That is true. Then the converse, if a point divides a segment into 2 congruent pieces, then it is a midpoint. That is also true. So since both of those are true, I can then write the biconditional statement. The biconditional statement states, take my original, a point is a midpoint if and only if it divides the segment into 2 congruent pieces. Best definition, right? Okay. Number 10. 2 angles are complementary angles if their sum is 90 degrees. So if 2 angles sum is 90 degrees, then they are complementary. That is true. If 2 angles are complementary, then their sum is 90 degrees. That is also true. Therefore, I can have a biconditional. Two angles, sum is 90 degrees if and only if they are complementary. Best definition. Decide whether the statement is a valid definition. So what they're really asking us to do is decide whether the conditional statement that they're giving us is true. Flip it around, decide whether the converse is true. If the converse is true, that means that I can write a biconditional, which would be the most valid and best definition. So if a polygon is both equilateral and equiangular, then the polygon is regular. That is true. The converse of that would be, if a polygon is regular, then it is both equilateral and equiangular. The converse is true. Therefore, that is a valid definition, because I could write the biconditional. Number 12, if a polygon is a square, then it has four congruent sides. That is true. If a polygon has four congruent sides, then it is a square. That is false, because I could have a parallelogram that has four congruent sides, which would be a rhombus. So I could have a rhombus. A rhombus has four congruent sides, but it's not a square. So not a valid definition. 13, if a figure is a line, then the figure has one dimension. True. If a figure has one dimension, then it is a line. That's false, because there's other one-dimensional items. So that would be false. I believe a plane is another one-dimensional item, or a line segment, or a ray, any of those. Okay. That is all for this. So, a couple things. You have the number pattern worksheet that was in your note packet. That was after 2.1 along with the Schoology 2.1. Now you have Schoology 2.2. Along with that Schoology 2.2, I want for you to do this worksheet that is on the back. So if I look through the supplemental sheets packet, the first page is that number patterns page that you did. On the back of that number patterns page is this conditional and converse worksheet. It has 13 questions. I want for you to do this, and then what I want for you to do is I want for you to do numbers 1 through 13. I need for you to write the converse. So they've given you the conditional. You write the converse. You decide if the conditional is true and if the converse is true. If both of them are true, then you write your biconditional, your if and only if statement. There's not a lot of room on this. You are doing all 13 questions. If you don't have enough space on this, then you are more than welcome to do it on a separate sheet of paper. You will upload your video of this. So in your video, there's a homework assignment where you're going to upload a video showing me that you did all the work. I need it close enough that I can see. I need the picture clear enough that I can actually see it. And then I would like to have your face in the picture also. Okay? And then that is essentially your work for this week. So 2-1 notes, 2-1 Schoology, 2-1 worksheet answers, 2 sections of 2-2 notes, a section of 2-2 Schoology homework, and then the worksheet from 2-2. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.